Hello, everyone, and welcome to Albuquerque, New Mexico. It is Judgment Day here in Week 34 of the USL Championship as we're here at the Lab, the site of a big-time showdown between number 1 New Mexico United and number 5 Memphis 901 FC. My name's Tyler Ortega, joined as always by Chris Hurst. Chris, New Mexico United already with the 1 seed in the bag, but for Memphis, a home playoff game on the line here tonight.
Yeah, exactly. Plenty to play for between the two teams. New Mexico United looking for some form going into the playoffs. Memphis bidding for that home playoff game. We'll be keeping half an eye on other games throughout the league as well as tonight goes on. Let's
go ahead and dive deeper into this matchup here this evening with our players to watch, brought to you by Toyota. Fresh off of his first international goal for the Philippines for New Mexico United, it's Zico Bailey.
Yeah, Bailey will be looking to cement a spot in that midfield going into the playoffs. It's been a position that Coach Quill and the staff have rotated regularly. Hasn't scored a goal yet in the USL, but did score 2 goals against RSL in the US Open Cup.
And now on the flip side for Memphis 901 FC, we're going to be keeping an eye on the 27-year-old Brazilian. It's Bruno Lapa.
Yeah, top scorer for Memphis, familiar in New Mexico United. He scored the last 2 times that these two teams have faced each other. He last scored in the 1-1 tie between Oakland Roots and Memphis. He also notched a brace against Lou City, so he comes with some pedigree tonight.
And as we look at these two side by side here, Chris, you can really expect to see them pulling the strings from the midfield here to this evening.
Yeah, you might think Bruno Lapa specifically, 11 goals, attacking player, centre forward, something like that, but he's not afraid to go deep and really pull the strings from deep as well.
We've got plenty of action coming your way. Tonight's match and the 2024 season, both presented by Sandia Resort and Casino, close to home, far from ordinary.
There's no place like the Lab in November.
Micheletto unleashes one! Marco Micheletto, welcome to the Lab!
But that was just the Wednesday in Maine.
It's his first goal for New Mexico United.
Haley lines it up, he scores!
And what a goal it was!
That's a random Saturday in August.
New Mexico deserves their...
On a weekend in April.
Oh, and at the back post, it's headed in!
We did that.
It's the captain!
That was a weeknight in September. It's been like this all season long.
And an absolute thunderbolt. And just like that, New Mexico have taken the lead. Flanagan with the backflip, and the Lab has erupted.
So what's November going to look like at the Lab this year? Well, that's up to you.
It is blackout night here at the Lab as New Mexico United set to host Memphis 901 FC. Let's go ahead and take a look at our starting lineups here this evening, brought to you by the Somos Unidos Foundation. And this is how New Mexico United lining up here, Chris. Just one change this evening. We see the aforementioned Zico Bailey slotting in, getting the start tonight instead of Jackson Dubois.
Yeah, new look back line as well with Seymour. We're thinking it's going to slip into right back there. Midfield, Hernandez just playing just in front of Hosu and Bailey. We assume they'll be the 2 6s. And Akali and Reyes, will they play left and right, or will they be inverted with Reyes on the left and Akali coming in off the right on his left foot?
On the other side now for the visitors, this is how Stephen Glass is rolling his lineup out. Fresh off a 1-0 victory out in the Valley over Phoenix Rising. They make one change here today. It's Leston Paul getting the start out wide instead of Dylan Borzak.
Yeah, and Memphis 901 on decent form, unbeaten in the last 3. And, you know, we've got Lapa there listed as the 6. Will he be the 10? Will he just... It seems like he has pretty much free reign to go wherever he wants. So he'll be someone that New Mexico United really need to account for tonight.
This here, just the 4th meeting all-time between these two clubs. The 3rd taking place right here on this pitch. The last time these two teams did battle, Chris, right here at the Lab, it was last year on Blackout Night, the regular season finale. New Mexico United hanging 4 on the visiting Memphis 901. The black and yellow victorious that night, 4-1. Harry Swartz, Zico Bailey, and Greg Hurst with a brace that night, all on the score sheet for the black and yellow. They're going to look to replicate that performance here this evening, Chris, as they look to find some form before their first ever home playoff match.
Yeah, and that's looming large. November 3rd. Looks like it's going to be Phoenix Rising making the trip to the Lab. But yeah, New Mexico United, like, it's been an unbelievable season, but feeling like maybe they're just stuttering into the playoffs a little bit.
It is New Mexico United in the all-black kits. Memphis in the all-white, and we're underway here from Albuquerque. Number 1, New Mexico United, just waiting to see who's going to be making the trip out here next Sunday, as that match will be taking place on CBS Sports Network. This is Talon Maples, and you said it, Chris, a back 4 here today. It's a little bit of a different look than what we saw last weekend as New Mexico were out against Orange County. We saw a back 3 from Eric Quill.
Yeah, and there's been changes that obviously the coach has been forced into making. I feel like, I know you'll be doing your injury report, but I think we have to make mention of Astorga as well. Obviously, we all wish him well in his recovery. That was a horrible, horrible injury. I'm sure he's watching tonight as well. But yeah, some changes that have been forced, and again, just trying to find the chemistry.
And that's a look at your Ben Sherman Law injury report. Joining Astorga, you've got Nava and Harris with the season-ending injuries, and Abdi Muhammad, who went off injured at Sacramento. It's been about 3 weeks now, Chris. He went off 50 minutes into that one. Is yet to come back since. These are a look at your Garcia Automotive Group. Keys to the game here for New Mexico. Backline cohesion, transition moments, and attack, and build momentum into the playoffs. This is a side here, Chris, that they've been one of the best sides at home in the championship this season. They've taken 11 victories out of 15 home matches so far. So this one goes in, and early it's Memphis striking just 2 minutes in. And it looks to be John Baccaro, the former Phoenix Rising man, putting Memphis 901 FC up early here at the Lab. And that's his first goal in just his 10th appearance for Memphis.
Unbelievable start here for Memphis 901, and it's interesting just noticing that Lapa, we were talking about him dictating the midfield in the pre-game. He started on the right, and it was a 2v1 on Memphis right-hand side, left-hand side for New Mexico United. Chris Gloucester completely outnumbered. It was a flick on, and Lapa had all the time in the world to pick out his cross. Great little movement by Baccaro, as you said, in midfield there. You just see, just gets icy, just creates just enough space to get the cross in, and he just gets that little half a yard on Kalen Ryden and just pokes it home. Absolutely nothing Tambakis could do about that.
Replays tonight brought to you by TLC Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Defend your home with TLC's service experts. As we were just talking about how good New Mexico United are at defending their home, of course, they concede just 2 minutes in, and now work to do here for the black and yellow early on, Chris. I guess the silver lining, if there is one, it's still so early into this match.
Yeah, obviously, I mean, lots of time to get back into it, but I'm trying to remember the last time that this happened where New Mexico United conceded so early, just a little flat early on, and Memphis, again, the team that really does have it all to play for. You know, the gate has been left open. The result has gone their way with North Carolina FC defeating Las Vegas Lights, and they've got off to a great start.
That's a look at the gaffer, Eric Quill. He's led the black and yellow to their highest point total in club history so far. He accomplished that about a month ago. So it's been a terrific season for the Black and Yellow. If you've been following the championship, they've spent the vast majority of the second half atop the Western Conference. This is Kalen Ryden, the captain. As Bailey looks to hit one long. Seymour flicks it on. Reyes, offside flag goes up. Jacobo Reyes, Chris, he's somebody that's seen a lot of action as of late. He started 11 out of the last 12 matches for Eric Quill.
Yeah, and obviously he's been producing. I mean, and that's the reason why he finds himself, you know, like a stalwart as much as you can be in the rigors of this league as well. You know, there's been a couple of games where he has dropped out just purely due to fixture congestion, I would say. But yeah, he's been producing. So that's something that New Mexico United have needed. And it is interesting. He has started on the right and Akale has started on the left. A lot of times we see that flipped, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that at some point as well.
Baquero just being acknowledged by the official there. 5 minutes in here. An early goal from John Baquero. Sees Memphis take the lead here. And as we mentioned, Memphis, they've got not necessarily everything to play for, but home field advantage in the playoffs is huge. Here's Seymour. Maples finds Kalen Ryden, and that's going to give us time to tell you about this 529 game update, brought to you by the Education Plan. That's New Mexico's state-sponsored 529 plan. You can give your kids a better and brighter future. Learn more at theeducationplan.com.
Yeah, early on you can see Stephen Glass and the coaching staff. You know, Stephen Glass not on the sideline today, but
Hernandez still in possession, and Hernandez just sends that ball wide.
You see he's thrown a little curve ball at New Mexico United. Basically, it looks like Memphis playing in a 4-4-2 with Carriaga playing up alongside Bacaro there, and Lapa playing out on this right-hand side and definitely out of possession. It's definitely a 4-4-2, and just sacrificing that midfield, those midfield numbers, and allowing just more attacking threats, really stretching out the back line of New Mexico United, having to deal with four attackers rather than just the one central striker.
That's the 24-year-old Australian Zach Duncan. And that's a look at the gaffer. It's Stephen Glass leading Memphis. Coming into today, as mentioned, in 5th place in the Western Conference standings, but a victory plus a couple of other decisions going their way could see them jump as high as 2nd by the end of the night, Chris.
Yeah, and like I say, already the Las Vegas Lights have done them a favour. Las Vegas Lights in the driving seat moving into tonight, and did lose 2-1 to North Carolina FC. That result is now final. So all to play for.
This is a not so familiar situation for New Mexico United here on the final match day of the season, Chris. Typically, it's the Black and Yellow with everything to play for. They're typically fighting for their playoff lives, and so this one has a little bit of a different feel here tonight at the Lab.
It's interesting. It's been a weird vibe like the last week, I'd say. New Mexico United really no win in the last 4, and social media. How much do you believe social media, right? But it has been kind of a little bit doom and gloom maybe, but the best season New Mexico United have ever had. Fact. They are Western Conference champions because they have been the best team throughout the duration of the season. Another fact. But that's just kind of, I wouldn't say be forgotten, but it's not been mentioned much. I don't feel like it's been mentioned. Like, that is a huge deal for this club, that they have been so consistent this year. They've won the Western Conference with time to spare this year.
Offside flag goes up here on John Baquero. So our officials tonight, our center official Eric Tattersall, our assistants on either side, we've got Rhett Hamill and Fernando Fierro, and our 4th official tonight is Kevin Sanchez. There's a look at our current conditions here in the Duke City. It is a spectacular fall evening here in Albuquerque tonight, Chris.
Finally.
There
was a little worry that we'd skipped fall and gone straight into winter after last weekend's shenanigans with the amount of rain we had. And another mention, obviously thinking of all those people affected by that down in Roswell as well. It hit very hard by flooding down there. But it's absolutely perfect. And what a great evening for soccer, and obviously the fireworks after for the fans as well. Absolutely picture perfect evening.
Seymour able to win the throw in there. Nanan Hosu, a couple of tackles last time out against Orange County. That ball just overhit. So 10 minutes gone by. Memphis on top. John Baquero scoring his first goal of the season just 2 minutes in. For the former Phoenix Rising man, that had to feel just a little bit more sweet.
Yeah, and obviously I believe right now Phoenix Rising losing 3-1. They needed to win today to avoid coming to New Mexico. So Phoenix fans, if you're joining us this evening, I guess book your travel.
There is no doubt about it that if New Mexico United were to host Phoenix Rising in the first round of the playoffs next weekend, that would be absolutely massive here at the Lab. Those are two fan bases, for lack of a better term, don't like each other. And, you put them together. They've played an Open Cup, where there's been a little bit of stakes on the line, but put them together in the league playoffs. I have a feeling we'd see a couple hundred Phoenix fans here at the Lab.
Oh, for sure. It's a relatively easy drive even, to get over here in terms of America anyway. That's a pretty easy one. Maybe if I was in England, people would think I was nuts, but it's an easy enough drive, so I wouldn't be surprised. There's been previous home games where those guys have travelled pretty well, especially over here, so I believe they switched out some car magnets in the parking lot before the game, if I remember rightly.
Bailey overhits that ball there for Gloucester. Here's Cariaga. Gets it off to Akeem Ward, the captain. Duncan carries it forward, lays it off here. There's Lapa. Cross goes in from Lapa, and it's right into the waiting arms of Alex Tambakis. Goes back to Sissoko. There's Paul. Sissoko, the 24-year-old Frenchman, does have some MLS experience with Seattle Sounders over the past few years. Also has some MLS Next Pro experience for Tacoma Defiance, formerly of the USL Championship. Looking for the through ball there for Baquero, intercepted by Maples, and throw in here to Memphis. Fans, you can check out all the exciting postseason action as the USL playoffs presented by Terminix kick off in November. The top teams will battle it out for the ultimate prize. Go to uslchampionship.com for all the latest playoff information. Ryden able to chase this one down for Kalen Ryden tonight. A momentous occasion for him. League appearance number 125 in a black and yellow shirt. So he joined the club in year 2 of their existence, 2020. Despite picking up some injuries this season, Chris, he's been able to work his way back into the side.
Yeah, he's had to be patient. I think the centre-back partnership between Maples and Herbert was so solid for so long. And, you know, had to bide his time, and I believe it was an injury to, or maybe even just rotation with Herbert, which eventually got Caelan Ryden his foot back in the door, which sounds crazy to say when he's, you know, club captain, etc. But he really did. He was on the bench for a number of games when he was back to full fitness, and once he's been in there, he's been hard to remove. And it seems like Ryden and Maples are the preferred partnership centre back going into the playoffs.
For Caelan Ryden, Will Seymour win the foul there, but for Ryden, he started the last 6 for Eric Quill as he makes his 16th start here tonight. 16th appearance, 13th start. Here he is with the ball at his feet. Looking to pick one out to Jacobo Reyes. Drops it on a dime. Reyes asking for the foul. Here's Ward. Cariaga now trying to work his way by Hosu, and Hosu with a strong defensive play. New Mexico now looking to counter potentially. Reyes lays it off for Hernandez. Memphis come back into possession. 15 minutes gone by here in Albuquerque. 2nd minute goal from John Vaquero separating the sides. That's Akeem Ward. Akeem Ward, the captain, former RGV and Oakland Roots man. May look familiar to New Mexico United fans that are tuning in here this evening. Here's Lapa. Vaquero tried to flick it on, and Lapa got a touch to it, but it just got away from him there as Tambakis was able to grab it.
And that's something else that we mentioned. Obviously, Lapa, who's really started on this right-hand side, but just pretty much given the free rein there to drift wherever he feels like he can be most dangerous. And that's so hard to pick up as the defending team as well, especially someone so dangerous, but you have to account for him.
And Greg Hurst goes down, and he draws the foul. And this, at dangerous areas, Tulu now showed yellow.
And that was really well done by Hurst. He saw that tackle coming a mile away and almost invited the tackle with his touch. Knew he wasn't going to get the next touch after that. Saw it coming, and Tulu was more than willing to bring him down. But yeah, that was some experience from the Scotsman.
First yellow card of the evening. Yellow cards brought to you by Ferguson Law Firm. When you've been fouled, call Ferguson Law Firm, New Mexico's leading personal injury attorneys for over 40 years. And so this, a dangerous area just outside the 18-yard box. You've got Makwele Akale with the left foot, or Jacobo Reyes with the right foot. What do you think here, Chris?
I love when you ask questions like that, because no matter what I say, I'm going to be wrong here, right? So I would say Reyes, the in-swinger, but yeah, we will see. It's tempting either way. It's in a great position for New Mexico United.
It is Akale going back post. He was looking for Caelan Ryden. It only happened that way because you said that.
You should have gone Reyes.
Yeah. I'd like to welcome everybody joining us here this evening on ESPN Plus, or those that are watching in the state of New Mexico on Estrella or KOAT after the 10 o'clock news, or if you're joining us out all the way in Memphis on WMC 5 Plus. Thank you for joining us here tonight. It is the final match day of the regular season as New Mexico United, their ticket punched. They are the 1 seed going into the USL Championship playoffs presented by Terminix. Memphis with a few things to be decided. A win here tonight would see them host a home playoff game. Hosu connects with Talon Maples. Maples came in the offseason, Chris, as a trialist. and has been able to lock down a spot as Reyes gets on the end of this one. Cross goes in and it's sent out. Tulu. He and Derek coming together there to make the play defensively. What a move there. I think that was Noe Mesa.
It's a couple of times where Nanan Hosu has done really well defensively. There was one in the 18-yard box a few moments ago where he got nutmegged and could have bitten. Would have been so easy to give away a foul. And then again there, full flight on the left-hand side and does well to defend it.
Cross goes in. Hurst with the flick, and New Mexico have evened things up here. 20 minutes in. It's Greg Hurst finding his 12th of the season. And the Lab has erupted here.
Just seemed like it came kind of out of nothing. Jacobo Reyes did really well to keep the ball in play on the right-hand side. And he was given pretty much the freedom of Isotopes Park. Puts a lovely ball into the box, hard and low, so all Greg Hurst has to do is redirect it. And he does that and just finds the bottom corner. Absolutely nothing Derek could do. Not up at once.
For Greg Hurst, scoring at home for the first time since Wednesday, September 18th against Sacramento. He had 2 that night as he finds his 12th of this season there, and that a lovely flick on from the Scotsman, Chris.
Great. Just what the doctor ordered for New Mexico as well. It was, you could see that it started coming back into the game. There was the gut punch of the goal so early by Memphis and kind of took the wind out of the stadium. But New Mexico United had started asking some questions. There was the run and the free kick from Greg Hurst earlier, where that Quelle put into the 18-yard box, and there've been a couple of moments out wide. But this is a really open game. There's another opportunity. It's pretty much a track meet right now. It's whoever has the ball, they're going to attack, and then there's the counter-attack opportunity, the transition opportunity, and whoever has the ball last might win this.
This one's shaping up to be a lot of fun. We've still got just less than 70 minutes remaining here in this one, as those goals that we've seen here tonight, both brought to you by Enterprise Builders, built on a foundation of trust for over 30 years. New Mexico looking for a second as Sissoko able to step in the way and intercept that ball. Will Seymour picking up his first assist of the season on that goal. And for New Mexico, that marks 7 straight home games with a goal this season.
I apologize. I thought it was a Jacobo Reyes out on the right-hand side there. But yeah, great run from the right back. Full on 80, 85 yards to get on the end of that and deliver. Great cross for Greg Hurst again. There was so much pace on it. And as attacking players, you love that when you don't have to do too much. You don't have to try and generate power or anything. You just have to worry about redirecting it. And all Greg Hurst had to do was get in front of the defender. You could see Derek in goal. He stepped thinking the cross was coming as well. Left his near post open. And that's where he found the gap.
Greg Hurst, 12 goals this season. That is the second most goals in a season in his career. He had 14 goals in 2021 when he played with Union Omaha of USL League One. That's a look at the Scotsman. As New Mexico looking for a second. Here's Reyes. Pokes it forward. Greg Hurst now. Hurst was looking for Hernandez atop the box, and it was poked away. There's Duncan. Goes back to Ward. Here's Mesa. Oh, and ball turned over. Hernandez was looking to pick out Makwele Akale on the opposite side. Noe Mesa, no stranger to playing soccer here in Albuquerque. Played with the Albuquerque Soul who used to be in the PDL, which has now been turned into USL League Two. Always good to see a familiar face back here in the 505. Frenchman Sissoko. Next with Tulu. Tulu out of Togo. 27-year-old. Actually started his own foundation to help out kids back in his home country. It's always incredible, Chris, when you see players that have an impact off the field. That's Memphis looking for an opportunity, and the shot, and it squeaks through, and Memphis have taken the lead. It's Cariaga putting the visitors on top, and the Argentinian has scored his 8th goal of the campaign.
You just said that this was turning into a shootout, and watching it develop, Cariaga's been the one from midfield who's been given the license to join Vaquero up top and really become that second forward. And at full pace, saw Caelan right, and he did everything right. Comes across, tries to slow him down. Once he senses the shot is coming, then commits to the tackle, and it goes through his legs, which kind of catches Tambakis off guard, and it pops through Tambakis' legs as well. And you see that Wright is doing the right thing, just trying to take away the pass to Vaquero, and there, just as he lunges for it, goes under and goes straight through the wickets of Tambakis, and he'll be disappointed about that one.
Cariaga mentioned scoring his 8th goal of the campaign there. You get a good look on that TLC replay. And once again, New Mexico having to dig themselves out of a hole. Maples finds Bailey, lays it off to Hosu. Here's Ryden now. Caelan Ryden, captain out of Norman, Oklahoma. Ryden picked up a 41st minute yellow card last weekend against Orange County as Sissoko called for the foul there in the midfield. Tattersall just making sure the ball comes to a halt before we get restarted here. And New Mexico, they're okay with that. When you've got Miquele Akale and Jacobo Reyes that can stand over a free kick here, you got to like your odds. Got some score updates there for you. A laundry list there of final scores as Phoenix officially downed by Louisville City. Phoenix, they scored the opener in that one as the cross goes in, headed away by Tulu. Hernandez. Seymour able to get a touch to it. Eventually it's the veteran goalkeeper Tyler Derrick coming out to grab that one. Ryder able to win the header there, and it comes right back from Tulu, but it lands out, and it's going to be a throw in here for New Mexico. And so 28 minutes gone by here at the lab. 3 goals already in this one. John Vaquero, Greg Hurst, and Samuel Cariaga all getting in on the fun.
Yeah, this game could not be more different from New Mexico United's last time out versus Orange County. That was I think of the right word. Very uneventful, I guess. That
sure.
It just you could tell it was just two teams who didn't want to take too many risks, I would say. And I'm not saying that either team went in not trying their hardest in there, because obviously that's not true. But it was just two teams that weren't, knew that there was not a whole lot on the line. Orange County, obviously are in the playoffs as well. So it was one that was today. You can tell that Memphis have something to play for. They really want that home game, and they have come out of the traps flying in this first half. And New Mexico United just haven't been able to match it so far.
Memphis up 2-1 here. Coincidentally, that was the score the last time these two sides saw each other. That was back in June at AutoZone Park. Seymour weighs his options, gets it back to Reyes. Cross goes in. Tulu able to get a touch. And Greg Hurst is going to be called for the foul. And maybe some extracurriculars there.
I think that was, Derek didn't like the challenge. We all know goalkeepers are a protected breed. And as the ball was hanging in the air for so long, Greg Hurst had every right to try and challenge for it. He did, and I would say, in my view, it seemed fair. It's so hard to see from our vantage point. We are so far away. But Derek definitely took exception to it. While he was on the ground, I would say he had a little grab of his ankle.
There's another
see, eyes on the ball. There's no looking whatsoever. And then as he's standing there, just has a little bit extra there with Derek. Maybe a little lucky that the officials didn't see that. There was nothing accidental about that. Let's put that way.
Replay just went up on the board here inside the lab, and you can hear what the home fans thought of that one. 30 minutes gone by. Memphis on top, 2-1 at Cariaga. Baquero on the score sheet. And so, as we suspected, Chris, Phoenix Rising have been confirmed as the first-round opponent for New Mexico United next Sunday. And so that 4-1 loss to Louisville secures Phoenix's spot as the 8th seed. Now, that's interesting for many reasons, right? We touched on the rivalry aspect of it. Phoenix were just here about 3 weeks ago. Came from behind to beat New Mexico United on this pitch.
Yeah, it's an interesting matchup, and Phoenix Rising, I'll have to look it up, but, they had some work to do. They started off the season terribly. They obviously, they parted with another season where they finished the season with a different coach from what they started. Danny Stone, now head coach of Orange County as well. But yeah, they've got themselves into the playoffs, and it doesn't matter. New Mexico United have been that team for the last number of seasons, right, where sneak in at the death kind of thing and take that last spot. And it's not. That's even last year. They're defending champions. They know how to win. There's a lot of people in that locker room who still understand how to win the whole thing. And it doesn't matter how you get into the playoffs. It's what you do once you get there. And that's what New Mexico United are fighting for. They've known for a long time that they were going to be in the playoffs. A long time. And that's hard mentally to still stay sharp. And now they need to maybe inject some fear into their opponents. Memphis has had absolutely no fear stepping in here tonight, and they've really took the game to New Mexico United, and that's what's you've got to expect that on November 3rd against Phoenix Rising as well.
Here's Akeem Ward. Hernandez able to get a touch there. So a throw-in coming up here for Memphis. 33 minutes gone by. Fans in the aftermath of both Hurricanes Helene and Milton, the USL has partnered with the United Way Suncoast to help the Tampa Bay area recover from the devastation the storm left behind. To learn how you can get involved, scan the QR code or visit ussoccer.com/Milton to ensure individuals and families have access to resources they need to recover. Here's Gloucester. Gloucester looking for Hurst at the back post. Sissoko able to head that ball away. Now, fans growing a little antsy here inside the lab. Ball flicked forward. Here's Seymour. And his cross blocked there by Sissoko.
Showed the amount of effort that New Mexico United put in the game. That's the centre-back, Tyler Maples, flicking the ball to Will Seymour, the right-back. 20 yards from Memphis goal there. They really are pouring numbers forward, trying to get back into this game, New Mexico United. But also on the other side, Memphis now, you can see Lapa and Mesa have completely switched sides, so it's going to be Seymour and Maples on the right-hand side of New Mexico United's defence that have to worry about accounting for the danger man for Memphis 901 as well. So he's started his trek around Isotopes Park early today.
And Tyler Derrick certainly not making any friends either with the Greg Hurst dust up as Hosu heads this ball away. Gloucester Ryden goes in late there, and Ryden concedes the foul just outside the 18-yard box, and this, another good opportunity here for the visitors.
I think it was Baccaro there. He was just too quick for Ryden. I think Ryden maybe thought he had a little more time to get a touch on the ball. It was careless by Chris Costa in possession there, trying to play the ball inside. Couldn't get it to its intended target, and Ryden just bites there, and he's just a little bit late, and yeah, really dangerous situation.
So you've got Cariaga and Lapa both standing over this. The two South Americans, the Argentinian and the Brazilian. Cariaga, 8 goals on the season, Lapa with 11. Eric Tattersall just having a word there with the New Mexico United wall. Bailey, Reyes, and Akale all standing in front there. So Lapa was the last one to touch it. Now Cariaga is. It's a little bit of a game these two are playing here. I think it's going to be Cariaga here with the left.
It's interesting, New Mexico United left that big gap between the wall and the first defender. It's normally filled by at least a player.
That's exactly where Cariaga was looking, as New Mexico able to deal with the danger momentarily. It's going to be a throw in here for Jimenez. Oscar Jimenez, the 34-year-old, spent the last 7 seasons with Louisville City. Scored 7 goals in his time there, as Jimenez couldn't quite work his way out of there. Ward. This one's going to go all the way back to the keeper. Here's Baccaro, the opening goal scorer here today. Memphis looking for a third. Here's Duncan. Cross goes in, and it's straight to Alex Tambakis.
I'm not sure Duncan had a little look up there. Every one of the players, Lapa, Hariako, they'd all pulled back to around the penalty spot, and he played a ball in low and hard into the 6-yard box. Wasted opportunity there.
Here's Akale on the left foot. Miquele Akale cuts it back. Loses one defender. Akale still. And eventually finds Tyler Derrick. That's more score updates there for you. The Rouge with Tube on SAFC there at halftime. Getting late for Monterey Bay and Tulsa. Rhode Island with a touchdown on Miami.
Yeah. Miami's ready for this season to be over, and Rhode Island just the final nail in the coffin there.
There was a lot of football on today. Rhode Island FC playing the other kind of football here this evening. 7. Wow. Here's Nanan Hosu. Hosu acquired from Loudoun in the offseason by New Mexico United, and you can tell why. He has been absolutely stellar defensively this season for the Black and Yellow, Chris.
Oh, definitely, and he's been a huge addition. Having someone who's so disciplined in that 6 role, just sitting in midfield, breaking up counter-attacks. I mentioned him earlier on in the game already as well. He's been done so well defensively. Doesn't bite when most other defenders would as well, and he's probably shiftier than what you would think for a player that does his role. He's actually the first 2-3 steps, he can break tackles and break pressure on the dribble as well. So he's been a huge addition. There've been several others. Talon Maples will be another one, but he's one of the main guys this year that's made a huge difference for New Mexico United, and the reason why they're sitting top of the West.
Foul called. Greg Hurst not very happy with that one. It's Bruno Lapa down on the ground. Lapa just being acknowledged by the crowd here as we have another look. A little bit of contact there. We got sandwiched between the 2 New Mexico United players. Lapa looks to be in a good amount of pain down there. And so while he is tended to, let us tell you about the USL Championship on Tu de N. You can watch the USL Championship in Spanish on Tu de N. That's the nation's leading Spanish language sports network. Select matches, including the USL Championship final, will be available in Spanish throughout the rest of the season. You can go to uslchampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings.
Seeing that final replay there, Lapa, when he landed his right leg, it looked like it maybe hyperextended a little bit. So that's why he's feeling a little discomfort. Good to see him up on his feet. Hopefully no long-lasting issue there, but yeah, it was that last replay there. You can just see just as he landed, it just tweaked a little bit. So completely incidental, just because of the contact. It was 2 players just going for the ball. I said right leg. It looks like he's looking at his left, though, so...
43rd minute here. Curious to see if he just gets evaluated before the half here. Doesn't look like he's in a rush to get back onto the pitch. You can see him there just off to the side. Lapa, one of our players to watch this evening, is we're going to see a yellow card shown to somebody on the Memphis bench. Not sure if it was Steven Glass or somebody else over there. I think we just saw another one issued. And so we can definitely tell you that both men in the picture right now are both on yellow cards. That there is Leandro Spinola. That's the head of sports science, as he had to be reined back in and finally has a seat. But Spinola and Glass, it looked like both shown yellows. 44th minute here at the Lab in Albuquerque. Tyler Ortega here alongside Chris Hurst. Welcome into all of our viewers, both in New Mexico and out in Memphis. And for those of you who are also joining us from around the league, we've got a good one on our hands here today as John Baquero opened up the scoring just 2 minutes in. So we saw 3 goals in the opening 25 minutes. So Memphis, with a victory, could secure a home playoff match. As 901 looking for a third. Headed away by Gloucester, not very far. A couple of deflections later. It's at the feet of Leston Paul. Ward cuts it back now. It's going to go all the way back to Tyler Derrick. As we approach first half stoppage time. Ryden over to Gloucester. There's Hosu. Hosu picked up a yellow card last time out, late in second half stoppage time. That 0-0 draw against OC. Hosu making his 23rd start of this season here tonight. Five minutes gone by. We are officially into New Mexico Pinon Coffee stoppage time. 3 minutes here at the end of the first half. It's New Mexico Pinon Coffee celebrating 30 years of great coffee since '94. Naples somehow able to connect with Hurst on that ball. Here's Reyes now. Reyes was trying to lay it off for Hernandez, just could not get a window there.
This is a little push at the end of the first half here by New Mexico United. Maybe Memphis starting to feel the pace of the game a little bit. Altitude as well, and this could be the time, and you know, we've seen it time and again when New Mexico United are able to pick off opponents at the end of each half.
Derrick skies through the air there and grabs that one just above Jacobo Reyes. Tyler Derrick, the veteran goalkeeper, 36 years old. Started his career with Houston Dynamo all the way back in 2010, Chris. He was actually the first homegrown player signed for Houston Dynamo. And so his career spanning 15 years here in 2024. New Mexico United fans might be familiar with him. He spent a lot of time with RGV. Here's Seymour. Picked up his first assist of the season here tonight. Throwing here to Memphis. So we have just over one of the allotted 3 stoppage time minutes remaining. Memphis in no hurry here.
Which is funny because the coach, Stephen Glass, was asking for a yellow card for Reyes for time wasting.
It's an art form, time wasting, and Memphis looking to bleed every precious second off the clock they can, even here in first half stoppage time. And it's all part of the game as this ball hit long, looking for Zico Bailey, and he's not able to track that down. Derrick sticks a boot through it, and that's the end of the first 45 here in Albuquerque. It's John Baquero and Cariaga on the score sheet for Memphis, putting them up 2-1 here over the black and yellow. Your thoughts, Chris?
Been a really entertaining first half. There was times where it was breathless, just back and forth, and Memphis came out the gates really strong and have caused all kinds of issues for New Mexico United. New Mexico United haven't quite found the key yet to unlocking Memphis's defense, and I think Memphis are good for the 1-goal lead heading in at halftime.
It's halftime. Your score, New Mexico United 1, Memphis 901 FC 2, presented by First Financial Credit Union. We'll step aside. We'll be back with some halftime.
I was born in Farmington, New Mexico, and learned to fish here on the San Juan. Watching the seasons, the bugs, and the trout. Lunker Alley, Simone Canyon, Lower Flats, and Texas Hold'em. This place is world famous, and for good reason.
There's no place like the lab in November.
Micheletto unleashes one! Marco Micheletto, welcome to the lab!
But that was just the Wednesday in Maine.
It's his first goal for New Mexico United.
Haley lines it up, he scores!
And what a goal it was!
That's a random Saturday in August.
New Mexico deserves their...
On a weekend in April,
Oh, and at the back post, it's headed in!
we did that.
It's the captain!
That was a weeknight in September. It's been like this all season long.
And an absolute thunderbolt! And just like that, New Mexico have taken the lead! Flanagan with the backflip, and the lab has erupted!
So what's November gonna look like at the lab this year? Well, that's up to you.
Blackout night here at the lab. Halftime between New Mexico United and Memphis 901 FC. Tyler Ortega here alongside Chris. Phoenix falling to Louisville City as Phoenix will be packing their bags, coming here to the lab next Sunday for the first ever home playoff match in New Mexico United history. Tampa putting 3 past Indy. Riverhounds with 2 over El Paso. This game still in progress. Tulsa with the 2-1 lead over Monterey Bay. Rhode Island 7 on Miami as that one getting late in the second half there. Detroit City 2-0 up on San Antonio. It's been a tough season for SAFC out there, Chris.
Yeah, it has. And, you know, they're a team that have always been there and thereabouts. But look at that game that's going to be coming right after the conclusion of this game. Sac Republic against Colorado Switchbacks. Right now, as it stands at halftime here, Memphis are second in the West. They're hosting a home game. And that game at 10 p.m. Mountain Time is a huge matchup.
And so this is a look at the standings. This was coming into the day. And so as Chris mentioned, with the way some things have played out, Lights have already lost. Memphis currently, as things stand, would jump ahead of Las Vegas Lights in second. But they need the match between Sac Republic and Switchbacks to end in a draw later on tonight. And so 1, 2, 3 dominoes gonna fall for 901 FC. To host to be the second place team going into the playoffs as we transition over, have a look at the Eastern Conference as things pretty much wrapped up out there. Louisville City, your Supporter Shield winners, as they have had just an absolutely stellar season, Chris.
Oh, I mean, unbelievable. And you know, it's a shame that, you know, I get why, you know, obviously America is so big and so vast. Every other country in the world, Lou City would be champions already, and by a country mile. Like, it really hasn't been close this year. They have been unbelievable. The fact that they could finish this season without really winning anything is amazing. You know, like it's very rare that the top team in the East play the top team in the West in the final, or one of those teams wins it. I mean, look at Phoenix. They finished 3rd or 4th, I believe it was, last year, going into the playoffs and won it all. Sorry, 6th. I stand corrected. Yeah, so it's it's been an unbelievable season, and this might be the one time though where they just look head and shoulders above everyone else. So you gotta put them as huge favorites going into the postseason.
And a tip of the hat to Rhode Island FC, their first ever season as a club qualifying for the postseason. This is a quick look at our news and notes from around the league. Detroit City FC, Nate Steinwasser, first goalkeeper in league history to score a penalty kick in a regular season match. As we move over to Birmingham Legion, Enzo Martinez, fifth player to hit the 50-assist career mark. And Rhode Island FC, as we mentioned, clinching a playoff berth in the club's first ever season. A quick look at our team of the week before we head out for a quick break. Johnny Rodriguez is your player of the week. Gavin Glinton, your coach of the week. As you look around here, you see some familiar faces. Zach Zandy, the switchbacks midfielder, getting the nod, as does Lucas Stauffer, the winger out wide for El Paso. As we'll go ahead and step aside from the lab, we'll be back with some more halftime.
Is it somebody's birthday? Dad, come watch us hit this ugly piñata. Dad!
When Hornets show up, so do we. Terminix it.
New flavors. The same traditions. Be the guest of honor. Add more flavor to your parties. El Jimador. Spiked Bebidas.
Welcome to Do or Die. Welcome to stories that give meaning to it all. The juggernaut chasing history. The hero hoping for a Hollywood ending. The upstart determined to make the most of its shot at glory. Welcome to second-guessing everything. Every coach's decision. Every referee's call. Every pass, shot, tackle, save. Because you know it all means more now. Welcome to the playoffs.
When mosquitoes show up, so do we. Terminix it.
Yeah, trick. I said what I said. I'd rather be famous instead.
Back here at the lab in Albuquerque, New Mexico, Tyler Ortega alongside Chris Hurst. It is a 2-1 lead for the visitors, Memphis 901 FC on top of New Mexico United. Let's go ahead and have a look at how we got here tonight with a look at our first half highlights. And Chris, it did not take long. 2 minutes in, Bruno Lapa linking up with John Baquero to score the first goal of the night.
Yeah, it was that danger man Lapa that we talked about in pre-game, and he just steals half a yard there in Quelle, and Arago just gets in front of his mark as well. Absolutely nothing that Tambakis could do there.
And this, just a few minutes later, 20th minute, Will Seymour able to connect with the Scotsman Greg Hurst for his 12th of the season.
Yeah, and it was kind of similar as well. It was Seymour who just stole a yard, little step over to send the defender flying, and then just puts across him with so much pace. And all Greg Hurst has to do is redirect it because all the pace is on the cross, and he gladly does it.
5 minutes later, Samuel Careaga finds the back of the net and puts Memphis on top 2-1.
Another counter-attack. It was a back-and-forth game in the first half, and ball played through, and Caelan Ryden did everything he could, tried to slow the attack down, bit when he needed to, and honestly thought that he'd maybe done enough, but it's popped through his legs. It also goes through Tambakis' legs as well. So much power on the shot, not a whole lot they could do.
First half stats here between these two. This one's been a lot of fun. There you see 7 shots between them combined. The shots on target have found the back of the target. There you see all shots on target have been goals here tonight, as New Mexico holding the slight edge in possession.
Yeah, but I would say Memphis probably looked the more dangerous of the team, and that probably shows in the shots as well. But yeah, I mean, actual scoring chances have been few and far between, as that shows right there. But both teams have looked pretty dangerous, especially Memphis when they get in those wide areas. They look really, really dangerous around the outside of New Mexico United's outside backs.
We're going to step aside. When we return, we'll have the second 45 from the lab here in Albuquerque. Don't go anywhere. You're watching ESPN+.
There's no place like the lab in November.
Micheletto unleashes one! Marco Micheletto, welcome to the lab!
But that was just the Wednesday in Maine.
It's his first goal for New Mexico United.
Haley lines it up, he scores!
And what a goal it was!
That's a random Saturday in August.
New Mexico deserves their...
On a weekend in April,
Oh, and at the back post, it's headed in!
we did that.
It's the captain!
That was a weeknight in September. It's been like this all season long.
And an absolute thunderbolt! And just like that, New Mexico have taken the lead! Flanagan with the backflip, and the lab has erupted!
So what's November gonna look like at the lab this year? Well, that's up to you.
Windrock Wonderland, Windrock Wonderland. November 30th, stroll through the holiday market, treasures and treats, so where should we start it? December 7th, the fun's here again. Windrock Wonderland, the best time of year. Windrock Wonderland, Windrock Wonderland.
This dance was born here. It became the legacy of my family. 6 hoops, many forms. Eagle, butterfly, water serpent, Mother Earth. When I dance, it brings me home.
Back here at the lab, the sides out of the locker rooms and onto the pitch. We've got the second half coming up here for you. Tyler Ortega alongside Chris Hurst. As New Mexico United, they've got the 1 seed locked up, headed into the playoffs that begin next weekend. In fact, we'll be right back here at the lab on Sunday. That is November 3rd, 6 p.m. kickoff. New Mexico United hosting Phoenix Rising FC in the first ever home playoff match for New Mexico. But Chris, before we get there, 45 minutes left to go. New Mexico United find themselves in a 1-0 hole. They're looking to win their first match since late September. Last time they were on the winning side of things, September 22nd, here against Loudoun United. It's been a while. They need to find some form getting into that playoff match.
Yeah, and it does. It's almost like this 45 minutes is almost like a little prelude to the playoffs. Like, I'm sure that's what the talk at halftime in the locker room has been about. For me, second half, Calais and Reyes, they could be the key going into the second half. Like, there's been a lot of players who've had actually decent games for New Mexico United. I think the width and attacking from Seymour, which you maybe wouldn't expect. You know, he's played centre-back a lot of his career or holding centre-mid, but he's created a lot of width and chances and obviously got his assist. Jacobo Reyes and Quelle have not been involved enough, and I think that's just a symptom of Memphis really shutting them down, knowing how dangerous those players are, and you just see how tight they're getting marked just in the shot there. Just Reyes just getting marked out of the game a little bit, and yeah, you can see it's hard for them to get in the game, but they need to find the game. They need to find the ball, and they need to start making things happen.
And it's been the man in the middle of the park for Memphis pulling the strings. Bruno Lapa, he was our player to watch coming into this one tonight, Chris. 2 assists on 2 Memphis goals in that first half.
Yeah, and he wasn't the central midfielder in the first half. I think that's been part of the key as well.
Here's Reyes, lays it back. Hernandez, and he didn't quite get the contact that he needed on that one.
You could see there it wasn't necessarily the contact that Reyes wanted on the cross, and that transferred into Hernandez. It wasn't an easy chance to take. It bounced right in front of him. He had to do everything just to keep it down. Great ball out wide. We talked about getting Reyes involved in the game, and there you can just see it just bounces in front, so Hernandez has having to concentrate so hard just to keep the ball down. It takes a little bit of the venom out of the shot.
Nicky Hernandez, 2 goals in all competitions this season. He's got 1 in championship play. Hosu goes back to Alex Tambakis. Tambakis making League appearance number 118 tonight in black and yellow. Joined the club back in 2021 following the first couple of seasons of Cody Mizell. Tambakis coming into tonight, 613 saves. He's the only USL Championship goalkeeper to eclipse the 600 save mark. As this ball hit long for Gloucester, and he got a touch to it.
He come over the touch. He got really good connection on that, and I'm not sure anyone really expected that. But interesting at the start of the second half here with Memphis, more the lineup that we were expecting going into the game. They threw a little bit of a curveball with almost like a 4-4-2 look in the first half. Now it's Cariaga has moved out onto this left-hand side, and Lapa, the more traditional, what we were expecting in that number 10 role, just behind Baquero, in there. So, like I say, maybe a little more as what was expected coming into the game. Be interested to see how that changes as the half progresses.
Challenge there from Gloucester, deemed to have been fair. Throw in here for New Mexico, and Memphis, they've been good when they have the lead at halftime in the USL Championship this season. 11 wins, over their last 11, they've won 9 and just drawn 2, going all the way back to April. And so this is a side that generally does not give up. Second half lead as Greg Hurst called for the foul. It was Duncan who went down. Duncan, 24-year-old out of Australia. There's Duncan. The Australian, he spent some time over the last few years playing in Denmark. Played one season in his native Australia. Looking for Baquero. It's headed away by Ryden. Cleared out by Gloucester. Ball just bouncing around there. Eventually, Memphis able to settle it. Here's Paul. Lapa giving chase, and Kalen Ryden will see this one out. 50 minutes gone by here at the lab. Goes back to Talon Maples. Maples this season, 131 clearances. Reyes lays this off here. It's Akale. For Gloucester now. Cross, and Derek able to snatch that one out of the air.
That was much better by New Mexico United, though. Greg Hurst early on in that play just posted up against Sissoko. An old-fashioned number 9 play. Had a handful of shirt, held the ball up, brings Reyes into the game. Reyes springing into midfield and links up with Akale. Just the final ball, the overlap and run from Gloucester as well, but just the final ball was lacking, but much better by New Mexico United early on here.
Here's Reyes. Able to leave this one out for Akale. Good weight on that ball there from Jacobo Reyes. Akale connects with Hosu. Lays it back. Zico Bailey. Shot attempt blocked. Blocked again there by Tulu. 2 huge blocks there from the center back, Tulu.
That was great refereeing there. You could see Cariaga was just waiting for the and there's the retaliation, which was coming from 50 yards away as well. But you could see he was just waiting for the contact, Cariaga, and just fell down, and the referee saw it coming a mile away as well, and he wasn't buying, so really well done by the official, not buying it. And then there, the retaliation. He's got to be really careful about the reaction as well here.
That was a very animated reaction there from Cariaga. So a Fiesta Auto free kick coming up here for New Mexico. Reyes and Akale both standing over this one. Kwele Akale. Let's see. So let's try this again, Chris. What do you think is going to happen here on this free kick?
They're going to take a free kick.
I think it's going to be Akale this time. Akale gives the signal and chips it in, looking back post. Maples going for Hurst, and perhaps one too many headers as it's now cleared out of the 18-yard box. Here's Hosu. Hosu, shot attempt blocked. Bailey now. And just didn't quite have the pace on that one.
There was that shiftiness that we talked about in the first half with Hosu, though. He's able to turn the corner there, and it just opened up for him, so he thought, why not? Didn't quite catch it cleanly. Then it popped out to Bailey, and Bailey opted to not go for power and tried to go for placement, and Derek read it the whole way.
Derek. The idea was to go for Cariaga there, but instead, all the way back to Alex Tambakis. Here's the captain, Kalen Ryden. Near side, Will Seymour. Will Seymour. So hearing that there's going to be a couple of subs coming up here for Memphis here momentarily, can expect to see Turchi and Santos both coming on for the visitors as they've got goals in mind. Four Brazilians on this squad between Lapa, Turchi, Fernando, and Marlon. About to see two more coming on. The offside flag goes up there on New Mexico, and now we're going to see those substitutions. So it's Noe Meza and John Baquero making way. Marlon coming on here. Marlon, the 29-year-old. Turchi, 28. Turchi, he's no stranger to scoring against New Mexico, Chris. He found the back of the net the last time these two teams played. That was earlier this summer at AutoZone Park. It was a 2-1 win for Memphis. Turchi and Lapa both on the score sheet that day. Greg Hurst found a late goal for New Mexico, but couldn't find a second. Derek, he is taking his sweet time here tonight. There's Hernandez, and just runs out of real estate as Turchi able to poke that ball away. Turchi's been with Memphis. This is his third season. Here's Gloucester. He's got space. Akale out in front. This is Akale. Cuts in. Hernandez. Bailey now. He's got Seymour making the run in front. Cross deflected, and Akale just unable to make contact there in the air.
Seeing how those changes are affecting Memphis, it looks like they've switched to maybe a back three with Turchi come on this left-hand side, Sissoko middle of the three, Tulu moved on to the right there, So now with that wing backs and a straight up two-shirt, Lappa's moved up alongside Marlon up top as well. So it looks like a little tweak from Stephen Glass and the coaching staff there, and whether that's an attacking sub in terms of getting more attacking outlets, with the wing backs, or you could look at it two ways, that, or you could look at it becomes a back five very quickly.
Memphis nursing this 1-goal lead here as we approach the 60th minute. Here's Marlon. Free kick coming up here for Memphis. Rhode Island finishes it off with one more over Miami. That one comes in final 8-1. You talk about gaining some momentum going into the playoffs. How about an 8-piece?
Unbelievable first season for Rhode Island, though. I mean, that's tremendous. I mean, that Eastern Conference was stacked this year as well. So to get their noses in there and get a playoff game very first season, hats off to them.
Here's Turchi. He was looking for Jimenez. Instead, it's going to be a goal kick here for Tambakis, and that's going to give us time to tell you about Select, the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. You can visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. '60th minute here at the Lab. New Mexico trailing Memphis 901 FC. Tyler Ortega here alongside Chris Hurst. Can't quite tell who that was, but looks like somebody's going to go in the book here, and it's Kalen Ryden. We'll see on this replay, but foul occurring away from the play. It's Marlon Santos down.
I think the reason why the fans within the stadium are so animated is it follows immediately after they felt that Reyes was fouled, but I don't think that was a foul. Reyes kind of ran into a bit of a cul-de-sac and just had the ball stolen off him. Did not see the contact at all. Got a chance here there. I think that was a good tackle. Turchi just stepped onto the field and just gets a toe on the ball. Is it Kalen Ryan? You can't even really see him there. It looks like maybe he gives him a little hip check. And as the referee was running towards Tyler Maples, he almost signalled that he pointed to his earpiece as if it was the AR on the far side who maybe spotted it and said something as he was running and made him aware that it was a cautionable offence as well.
Actually, I believe that was Leston Paul? Either way, we are all good to go now. Kalen Ryden goes into the book here, 60th minute. Yellow card brought to you by Ferguson Law Firm. Santos just misses on that one. So less than half an hour to go here in the 2024 USL Championship regular season for these two. Both of these clubs with their tickets punched to the postseason. Memphis fighting right now for a shot to host a home playoff match next weekend. What an exciting time for the fan base. This ball hit long. It's going to find Tyler Derrick.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see changes from New Mexico United coming up soon. It's just not worked. Just not worked so far. Really, they're kind of just huffing and puffing so far and not being able to. I was going to say blow the house down, but maybe not. It didn't. I've said it now. There we go. We're in. But yeah, it's maybe a change in midfield, get control of the ball a little more, allow players to get higher up the field. So maybe someone like Sergio Rivas coming in, or would Rivas maybe switch out either Reyes or Akale, give some different looks out wide as well. But yeah, there just needs to be something different going into the final stages of the game here, or you can only see one winner.
Turchi works his way past, and Memphis have scored a third here 63 minutes in. It's the substitute, Lucas Turchi, and he scores against New Mexico for the second time this season.
What a strike that was. Turchi just picks up the ball in midfield, stepping out from the back three, and with his left foot unleashes an absolute thunderbolt. I think maybe Tambakis saw it late as well. It bounced and had so much power on it, and just finds the bottom corner, and it was placed so well for such a distance as well. Absolutely unbelievable strike.
Turchi scored against New Mexico in the first fixture back in June at AutoZone Park in the 34th minute, and here he is again, unleashing one past Alex Tambakis, and that was absolutely massive for Memphis.
Yeah, huge. You know, that's the insurance goal, basically. Now it's all on New Mexico United to really push the pace here if they want any hope of getting back into this game. And you can just see the reaction of Tyler Maples there in the foreground as on the replay, where it just almost looks deflated.
And so New Mexico now facing a 2-goal deficit with just over 25 minutes remaining in this one. That goal brought to you by Enterprise Builders, built on a foundation of trust for over 30 years. For Turchi, that's his third goal of the season. The last time Turchi scored against New Mexico in the first fixture.
It's amazing how often that happens, where players have certain teams that they just turn up for. They turn up for those games. You know, it happens all the time across Europe as well, where there's players are like, I love playing there because I know that I've got a chance of scoring a goal.
Here's Seymour. Ball falls to him at the back post. Tried to cross it in. And Seymour goes down, draws the foul. And New Mexico with a free kick coming up here from a dangerous position. Here's another look on this TLC replay.
Seymour's been really good. Makeshift right back. I mean, let's call it what it is. You know, he's not first choice at right back, and I'd say it's probably not his favoured position either. But he's done really well today. He's offered an attacking threat from there as well, and got an assist and drawn the foul in a really dangerous area there as well.
So we're hearing of potential wholesale changes coming up here for New Mexico United, as Hurst unleashes this one and sends it all the way up into the concourse there. And so now we will see the changes. And so 4 substitutes coming in now for Eric Quill as he looks to add some offense here to this black and yellow side. You've got Avion Flanagan, Sergio Rivas, Marco Micheletto, and Marlon Vargas all coming in here.
Yeah, needed. I'm sure at least a couple of those changes were going to happen anyway before the third goal went in. We were just talking about that, saying it had kind of gone a little bit flat. So I'm sure at least a couple of those, and maybe just decided to throw the kitchen sink at Memphis for the last half hour, let's say, and see what happens.
Those that got subbed off, Nicky Hernandez, Zico Bailey, Makwele Akale, and Jacobo Reyes. Those substitutions all brought to you by Southwest Eye Care. So just over 20 minutes to go here. 3-1 lead for Memphis 901 FC. This one finds Kalen Ryden. Here's Micheletto, first touch here of the evening. It's a bad giveaway there from Seymour. This is exactly who you do not want the ball at their feet in that situation. Bruno Lapa already has 2 assists tonight. Here's Cariaga. He scored the second goal of this evening for Memphis. Rivas now, the Albuquerque native. Here's Micheletto. And Micheletto goes down. And the foul is called. So Fiesta Auto free kick coming up here for New Mexico.
That was really good stuff from Marco Micheletto there. Fresh impetus in midfield, just driving forward. And defender for Memphis had a couple of bites of the cherry and finally got his man. And I think he brought it back for one of the early infringements. And the referee was trying to play an advantage, see if he could break free, and just couldn't quite shake him. So again, good officiating there. But again, that fresh impetus, those fresh legs in midfield really made a difference, just driving New Mexico United higher up the field.
Marco Micheletto making his 28th appearance of the season tonight. Looking for Vargas there. Ryden thought about looking for Micheletto on that run. Instead, Flanagan not able to connect with Gloucester there. Avion Flanagan came on 80th minute last weekend against Orange County. Had 11 touches in the 10 minutes that he played. Other than that, didn't really have a whole lot of time to get involved there.
You see right now, though, for Memphis, the 3 absolute monsters at centre-back with Turchi, Sissoko, and Tulu, and they're just lapping up any crosses that come into the box right now. New Mexico United really got to try and get end line like this in behind them there. Can they deliver crosses into those areas just in between goalkeeper and the centre-backs, and cause havoc in there? It's another dangerous situation now for New Mexico.
And Derek just taking exception there to the little nudge from Flanagan at the end. I think it's much ado about nothing as New Mexico heads over for what I believe, Chris, is their first corner kick of the evening.
Wow. Yeah, I do believe that Derek and Greg Hurst were just exchanging addresses to send Christmas cards to each other, because they've been in each other's face a few times tonight.
Perhaps they're discussing their Halloween costume ideas.
That could be it also.
A little bit of trick-or-treat going on. So it's Micheletto to deliver. Corner kicks brought to you by Topo Chico Hard Seltzer. Hello Crisp Refreshing Taste. Hello Topo Chico Hard Seltzer. Micheletto gets it back. Cross goes in and straight to Tyler Derrick.
Yeah, Derrick's been really good with that. Really good hands, and just takes the pressure off his back line by just coming and collecting so much. And so many dangerous crosses, and you know, maybe a little too easy for him as well, but he really has commanded his 18-yard box really well tonight.
So while we've got a moment, I'd like to give you our official attendance figure brought to you by New Mexico Mutual. 10,220 of the black and yellow faithful on hand here tonight. Actually, 10,219. I did see one Memphis 901 FC fan walking around with a big Memphis flag. Big shout out to him for making the trip out to the land of enchantment. As if you didn't make the trip out, but you're still watching, thanks for hanging out with us here on ESPN Plus. Or if you're watching locally on Estrella, this cross goes into the box over the head of everybody. Of course, we'd like to welcome those of you watching out on WMC 5 Plus out in Memphis. Just past 8:30 here in Albuquerque. As New Mexico United looking to finish this one strong here, Chris, although not going according to plan.
No, really not going according to plan, and I know, there's obviously fireworks after the game, and I know as a soccer fan, I'm hoping that there's some fireworks at the end of this game, and we don't want this just to kind of meander to its conclusion 3-1. It'd be good to see New Mexico United again, just kind of get some good feelings, good vibes going into the playoffs, because right now it just doesn't feel like a team that's firing on all cylinders right now.
That cross from Micheletto did not miss Marlon Vargas by much, but stop me if you've heard me say this before tonight, Tyler Derrick comes out to snatch that one.
Yeah, like I said earlier, he's been absolutely tremendous at that, and it's almost like the centre-backs can play 4, 5, 6 yards higher up the field, knowing that he's going to come and collect absolutely everything.
Ryden does well there to win the throw-in. 3-1 lead here for the visitors. 75 minutes gone by here at the Lab. Here's Hosu. New Mexico looking for their first win since September 22nd. And not just that, Chris, they're looking to score multiple goals in a match for the first time since September 18th. Here's Flanagan. Could he provide the spark that New Mexico are looking for? So here, 75 minutes in, it's going to be New Mexico's favorite Englishman, Daniel Bruce. No offense to my partner up here in the booth. You're the second favorite Englishman amongst New Mexicans. I think we can lock that in. But Daniel Bruce comes on here tonight as Bruce makes his 155th appearance in all competitions tonight for the club. A true pillar here for the black and yellow on, but especially off the pitch.
Yeah, maybe that's the spark. You hear the buzz around the stadium as well when Bruce steps on the field, so maybe that's the spark that's needed. I've actually been impressed with Vargas. He's been busy since he's been on the field as well. My first chance really getting a chance to see him play in the flesh, and yeah, I've been really impressed. He's just busy. And that's just what we needed, was just those attacking players to just get on the ball a little bit more. I think Marco Micheletto's made a big difference as well, helping with the control in midfield and getting on the ball and trying to pull strings. But so far, again, it's still just too comfortable for Memphis.
That ball from Flanagan just over hit for Micheletto, and so New Mexico squanders possession once again, and we're going to have another sub coming on here, this time for Memphis. It's going to be Alvaro Quesada. He's on to replace Bruno Lapa. So the Brazilian will exit the pitch having contributed to 2 goals tonight here for Memphis. So he was really running the show there in the first half.
Yeah, he really was. Started out on the right, which maybe surprised. It certainly surprised us. We weren't necessarily expecting that. Maybe New Mexico United had a line on that, the coaching staff, but we weren't expecting that. And the first couple of goals came from that as well. And then he was given free rein to pretty much the freedom of Isotopes Park and just find where the ball is. And a player of that caliber just being given that freedom, it's so dangerous and so hard to defend.
Sergio Rivas called for the foul there. So a free kick coming up here for Memphis. Turchi just taking a few more seconds off the clock. Time wasting is an art form, as they say. Memphis, they were able to bleed off 25 seconds right there. Here's Talon Maples, former Houston Dynamo 2 captain. Spent the last couple seasons there in MLS Next Pro, as Cariaga thought he was onto a brace there.
It is, and that's going to be the chances that Memphis have now, is maybe catch New Mexico United on the break, as New Mexico United really push players forward to try and get back into the game. Other than that, set up their shot, set up their stall, set up the brick wall, basically, that huge brick wall at the back with the 3 centre-backs, and just asking New Mexico United, have you got enough to break us down?
Flanagan able to get down to the end line, and cross goes in, and it's a Topo Chico hard seltzer corner kick. New Mexico getting a move on here with this one, as we're in the 80th minute here at the Lab. Nicoletto gets it back and instead puts some power behind that one. Rivas is looking for Maples and just out of reach. '80th minute here at the Lab. As Tyler Derrick takes his time with this goal kick, it's going to give us time to tell you that if you can't watch the match, you can turn on SiriusXM FC 157. That's North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access. That's on Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Plus, you can hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on SiriusXM FC 157 and the new SiriusXM app. Memphis looking to get out in front there, and eventually it's Tambakis coming under possession. Vargas with a nice run there as it deflects, but Memphis eventually come back into possession. Memphis doing a wonderful job here, just keeping possession. And of course, as I say that, Turchi concedes the possession there. There's Seymour. The ball's going to be poked all the way back to Alex Tambakis. Here's Rivas, the Albuquerque native. Rivas, it's been a while since he found the back of the net. Got to go all the way back to mid-August, August 11th. A 64th minute goal at Indy 11. That's it. The goals have been fewer and much more far between this season for Sergio Rivas. Just 3 goals, 1 assist this year. He had 12 goal contributions last season. Here's Rivas, ball at his feet, lays it off here for Flanagan. Flanagan just runs out of real estate, was looking to draw the penalty.
It just looked like Flanagan there just couldn't quite work out what he wanted to do, so started dribbling, and Memphis just closed the door and just took away all the space, and yeah, like you say, just ran out of real estate.
So now we've got a couple more substitutions here for you for Memphis, as another former Phoenix man, Panos Armanakas, coming on here. We're also going to see Nighty Pickering making his way onto the pitch as well. That's Armanakas in front. Armanakas joined Memphis here midway through the season from Phoenix. And Nighty Pickering, the 19-year-old, will replace Samuel Cariaga. Pickering, 3 goals in 26 appearances so far this season for the teenager. '84th minute. That ball dealt with, we can call it. It's Tulu. Didn't do what he wanted to with it as he concedes the corner kick here for New Mexico. It's a Topo Chico hard seltzer corner kick. Boleto takes it quickly and sent away by the first man. It was Marlon Santos. Long ball comes in from Hosu. Ryden goes down. Derek crashes over everybody. Here's Rivas. It's headed away. Derek now going down as he is feeling the effects of that fall from about 30 seconds ago and going down right in front of the supporters section here. Here's Sissoko just having a look at the crowd.
I mean, we all know what's going on here, but it has been death by a million crosses for New Mexico United tonight. They've just got the ball in wide areas, not really being able to drive to the end line, so just slung crosses in and haven't really troubled. Like I say, Derek's been so good, and it's his own man. It's the own man that he ends up, and that was a heavy collision on the way down. It's hip on shoulder or hip on head with Kalen Wright in there. But it looks like it's his shoulder that he's really struggling with, but he's been very, very good tonight, Derek, dealing with everything that's been pumped into the box from New Mexico United, and there have been a lot of crosses for him to deal with.
And there you see some of the frustration in the stands as Memphis, they're enjoying it down there, as they should be. This has been a massive performance for them in front of over 10,000 hostile fans here in Albuquerque this evening. Following the injury stoppage, we're back to it. Ball bouncing around here inside the box. Down goes Daniel Bruce. Eric Tattersall wags his finger and we play on. What a performance here tonight from Memphis. It's really felt like they've been in control for the entirety of this match.
Yeah, and it's testament there, the way they're set up. Like right now, they haven't got possession, but they still feel like they're in control.
Marlin with the touch on. Vargas gets it back. Vargas rattles the crossbar as Derek went full stretch. Ultimately, it's going to result in the goal kick.
It's maybe not completely in control, but that was through some individual brilliance there by Vargas, and Nicoletto involved as well. And you see, doesn't really give Derek any time to get set. He takes the shot so early with the outside of his right foot, doesn't wait for it to get it all the way across onto his left foot, and yeah, let's say just catches him off guard a little bit.
And for Vargas, he's still looking for his first goal in black and yellow. Vargas, the 23-year-old El Salvadorian, came to New Mexico after spending most of the MLS Next Pro season with Rapids 2. Scored 10 times in 22 appearances. 88th minute. New Mexico down by 2.
Again, it's been a hugely positive season for New Mexico United, sitting top of the championship. Kind of like my boy Sunderland as well. I had to get that in at least once today. How are the lads? But
took you 89 minutes.
It took me 89 minutes.
Here's a breakaway as Marlin sends this ball over, as that was well over the goal of Alex Tambakis.
So again, like a hugely positive season for New Mexico United, and it's just the last. I mean, now this being the 5th game, it's that cat and mouse game, and everyone always talks about it. Do you want to go into the postseason healthy, or do you want to go into this postseason with momentum, with some confidence? You want to do all of them. But if you had to pick one, it probably would be with some momentum.
Flanagan cross goes in, and no problem there for Derek.
And especially, New Mexico United, they have picked up some nasty injuries recently as well, really, really bad ones. So that was never really an option. So you would want that momentum, that feel-good factor going into it. It just hasn't quite happened.
Into the 90th minute we go here. Tyler Ortega here alongside Chris Hurst. It has been a dominant performance for Memphis 901 FC here this evening. They were beaten on this pitch here on the final match day of the regular season last year by New Mexico, 4-1. Looking to return the favor here this season. It's Gloucester looking to play a cross in, and really nobody home. Nice touch there from club president Ron Patel on the sideline. New Mexico, as we said coming into tonight, aside from momentum, not a whole lot to play for here this evening.
No, there really wasn't. And and social media being the clearly the best barometer of public feeling. But that was hugely sarcastic, just in case anyone didn't catch that. But yeah, I mean, it's again, hugely successful season. It just feels like it's petering out a little bit. And as a New Mexico United fan, all these fans in here are all hoping that this is New Mexico United saving something. That's what the hope is now, because that's all they really can cling on to, because it has not been great tonight. Again, the death by it. There was another example of it with Chris Gloucester just slinging the ball into a box there.
Here's Flanagan, and the deflection just goes wide, and Tulu has been an absolute brick wall here this evening.
You see how much it means to Memphis. They're gonna do everything in their power to make sure that New Mexico United do not even get a sniff to get back in this game. And it was a deflection, somewhat fortuitous as well, and how that was celebrated. And now there's a little bit of extracurriculars going on in the, no surprise, Derek's in the middle of it as well. So when you asked me earlier on the free kick what's going to happen, I'm going to put a pretty hefty bet on here that there's going to be a free kick coming as soon as the ball's put in the box.
Sounds like chance of Bruce coming out. Looks like the fans have been deemed Daniel Bruce was the one being picked on there in that big huddle. And so here's Micheletto as we are into second half stoppage time. Micheletto. Here's Hosu now, goes back to Marco Micheletto, able to turn. Cross dealt with by Duncan. Second half stoppage time brought to you by New Mexico Pinon Coffee, celebrating 30 years of great coffee since '94. Vargas has a go and just pulls that inside the post. Should I say outside of the post, as Micheletto heads back over another Topo Chico hard seltzer corner kick. That time, cross went straight in, dealt with by Marlin. Hosu able to connect with Maples, and what a save there from Tyler Derrick.
Yeah, that was a really, really good save, because I believe it bounced right in front of him as well, so he had to anticipate how the ball was going to react to the turf there. And Tyler Maples just pulling the ball out the sky. Reminded me of a young Niall Quinn there, taking the ball off his chest and just popping the ball in there. But yeah, what a great save by Derrick.
Looking back post. Oh, and Vargas has pulled one back for New Mexico. It's his first goal in black and yellow. And New Mexico have a lifeline here in second half stoppage. What a way to score your first goal in black and yellow there for Marlon Vargas.
And there's still time as well. Memphis switched off a little. It was a slight question of offside. But then the afters as well. Daniel Bruce follows the ball into the net. And yeah, again, you know, that's all that New Mexico United wanted, was just a little bit of hope going into the final couple of minutes here. And here comes the kitchen sink.
So Marlon Vargas scoring his first New Mexico United goal 4 minutes into second half stoppage time. And the black and yellow now down by just one.
What if Tyler Maples and Kalen Ryden are both playing as centre forwards right now as well? It's basically Hosu and Marco Micheletto playing centre back.
New Mexico looking to salvage a point. Looking to gain some momentum going into the playoffs. Possession given away there on the sideline, and so throw in here, and an interception from Flanagan. He goes down, he's fouled, and a Fiesta Auto free kick coming up here for the black and yellow.
There was a staff member up here from Memphis, and he's not happy right now. He's kicking every single ball. I think everyone in the stadium right now is back in this game.
Off the free kick, right in at the back post, off of the post, still bouncing around. Bruce has a go. He goes down. It's eventually cleared out. Pandemonium here at the lab.
Where does this come from? You could just see Derrick was complete despair, just watching the ball going over his head. He knew he could do nothing about it. Right, he did everything right, just the wrong side of the post for New Mexico United.
Turchi able to head that ball away. New Mexico, they're looking for a goal here. Memphis now looking to just enjoy some possession, and now the foul going to be called against Marco Micheletto there. And now some seconds will roll off the clock. It's Paul who's down. So approaching the 7-minute mark, I would imagine there's going to be a little bit more time just due to the goal. And now this brief stoppage. Memphis went from being in firm control here to holding on. That ball out of reach there for Pickering, and New Mexico, they've got momentum as they look to attack, searching for an equalizer. Galeto, and that cross attempt is blocked. Arlen does well to retain possession. Tulu boots it long. Tosu will track it down. Everybody on the edge of their seats here in the lab. This ball goes long. Headed away, and Paul again just sticks a boot through it. It goes all the way back to Alex Tambakis. And New Mexico will start from square one. Osu hits it long. Dealt with by Sissoko. Here's Maples. He finds Seymour. Cross goes in. Kalen Ryden. And it just misses. The captain with a golden opportunity. And Sissoko now is going to be shown yellow. As we have one more look at this. Seymour looking to connect with his fellow defender, Kalen Ryden. What an opportunity.
Memphis are absolutely all over the shop right now. They wanted the final whistle about 10 minutes ago. I don't know if they thought the job was done. They looked in so much control. We were talking about so much control. It's almost like when Vargas hit the crossbar, all hell has broken loose since then. It's been absolute pandemonium.
And that is the full-time whistle here at the lab. Memphis, with a victory, have secured a home playoff match. What a match we just saw unfold right before our eyes, Chris. It's going to be hard, but I need your thoughts on it.
Yeah. The question is, from 90th minute onwards, where was the intensity and that for the rest of the game for New Mexico United? Incredible match.
Greg Hurst awarded your play of the match, presented by Vara Winery and Distillery for his 12th goal of the season. The goal in the 20th minute. The Scotsman in his second season in black and yellow. A look of frustration there from Will Seymour. He comes in. He's awarded your man of the match by Pepsi. Picked up his first assist. 3 interceptions, 4 fouls won. Seemed like a million crosses off his right foot. As New Mexico, they're going to end this night on the wrong side of the score sheet. But a playoff game looms here for both sides. Full time here from the lab. We'll step aside. We'll be back with our full-time highlights.
There's no place like the lab in November.
Micheleto unleashes one! Marco Micheleto, welcome to the lab!
But that was just the Wednesday in Maine.
It's his first goal for New Mexico United.
Haley lights it up, he scores!
And what a goal it was!
That's a random Saturday in August.
New Mexico deserves their...
On a weekend in April.
Oh, and at the back post, it's headed in!
We did that.
It's the captain!
That was a weeknight in September. It's been like this all season long.
And an absolute thunderbolt! And just like that, New Mexico have taken the lead! Flanagan with the backflip, and the lab has erupted!
So what's November going to look like at the lab this year? Well, that's up to you.
With more ways to win, whatever game you play, Sandia Resort Casino. Now more than ever. Close to home, far from ordinary.
Full time here at the Lab as the USL Championship regular season comes to an end. Both of these teams have punched their tickets to the playoffs. Memphis, with the 3-2 win tonight here in Albuquerque, have booked themselves a home playoff match. Let's go ahead and recap the action in a 5-goal shootout. And Chris, we didn't have to wait long. 2 minutes in, former Phoenix Rising man John Baquero finding the back of the net.
Yeah, start of the game, end of the game, absolutely crazy. But it was Lapper on the right-hand side, started on the right-hand side, just got that little half a yard of space and puts the cross in. Yeah, as you said, Baquero just beats Keelan right into the ball. Nothing Tambakis could do. Pretty similar goal there for New Mexico United. It was Will Seymour, who was an attacking threat all night from right back for New Mexico United. Creates that space by beating the defender, puts in a low, hard cross into the near post, and Greg Hurst gets in front of his mark and puts it into the empty net as well.
And for Greg Hurst, that is goal number 12 of the season. But 5 minutes later, Memphis with the answer to go back ahead. This time, Samuel Carriaga scoring his 8th of the year.
Yeah, Carriaga breaking from midfield, and Keelan Ryden slows the play down, but doesn't quite do enough, and then allows the shot. And this was the final nail in the coffin for New Mexico United. Turchi just breaking from defence, a vicious left foot, where you can see it just... Tambakis can't react until it's past Maples, and by then it's too late. It's already in the back of the net. What an unbelievable strike that was. But we weren't done then. The final flourish from New Mexico United. Great ball in. I said there was a hint of offside. I actually think Vargas timed his run really, really well there, and a great first-time finish. That'll be fresh in the thoughts of the coach and staff heading into the playoffs as well. But yeah, great finish there. And then New Mexico United had another couple of chances even after that, even though that was in the 95th minute, I believe it was. Unbelievable end of the game.
And you look at these full-time stats here, brought to you by Duke City Cares, your medical family. 15 shots from the black and yellow as the opportunities just started to pile up.
Yeah, it was. And you can see the amount of possession New Mexico United had, but you know, in terms of the shots, the 15 shots, I'm sure 10 of those were in the last 5 minutes. You know, again, it was such a crazy game, but for the majority of the game, Memphis looked so comfortable, even out of possession.
Well, New Mexico have punched their ticket to the playoffs. They'll be back here next Sunday. It is the first ever home playoff match in club history as rivals Phoenix Rising will make the trip out to the Land of Enchantment. And so for the final time in this regular season, we say goodbye for everybody part of our broadcast, for our producer, Gary Williams, for Chris Hurst on color. My name's Tyler Ortega. We'll see you next week.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.